Hi everyone. I thought we would look today at one of the more interesting cards in the medieval deck, and that's the port card. And there's a lot of different ways to approach this card because it represents unique rewards and unique risks. So we're going to cover at least three ways that I look at this card or when you could potentially play it. And I'll discuss what I think about those different ways, the different timing of when to play it. So let's first talk about playing this at the very end of the game, or when you sense that there's just a turn or two left. In that case, I don't see why you shouldn't go ahead and play it. And you can kind of think of them as like a moon landing card or the U.S. Constitution card. Like it's a finishing card. It's the cherry on top. It's the reward for having gone through all this building of your resources and well, maybe not building up resources, but it's a finisher card. So that's one way. And usually that's safe. Um, Not always, even on a final turn, you still have to be careful because that bubonic plague card that it unlocks is just still so powerful. So certainly, if you have two destruction tokens in play, you might not even want to play this at the end of the game. It's that sensitive and that vulnerable. So that's one way you could play it. Another way you could play it is at the beginning of the game, right in the opening. I think this is by far the riskiest, and 9 times out of 10, to me, it just seems like it's not worth it. The one advantage in playing a port very early is that it kind of throws off your opponent's rhythm that they had going, especially if they're dedicating a lot of cards to their build pile. So if they've got a fair amount of cards sitting out there, and they're getting ready to drop some really big stuff, when you do this, it's very frustrating to them because a lot of players don't like having to switch gears between, developing their own deck and then having to switch to conflict and attacking, which this card forces them to do. And if your opponent ever plays a port against you, you kind of have to drop almost everything you're doing and address it because it's so powerful. It gives points so cheaply. Especially if they were, I was going to say if they were hiding a couple behind a scholar, or a couple scholars, but we're talking about the very beginning of the game here, so it probably would not be a whole lot. But regardless, even if they play just one, it's giving them such an easy head start, and you've got to try to draw your bubonic plagues. So really open up the throttle and be looking at as many cards as you can so that you can drop that bubonic plague and address this immediately. So yeah, you can play it at the beginning of the game, but it's extremely, extremely risky. A third time that you could play this card, which I think is the best way to play ports, is during the middle of the game. And you do this by carefully watching the discard deck. So as the discard deck develops during the game, you're going to want to be counting how many bubonic plagues are in it. And I would say once you've got 2, and of course 3 bubonic plagues, then you got the green light. You can go. Now, there's more to consider here than just how many are in the deck. or how many are in the discard pile. There's also, how big of a discard pile is it? Like if they just started out and they've already got 2 bubonic plagues in there, that's fantastic. But if they're almost at the end of their deck and they've got 2 bubonic plagues in there, then that third one is going to probably come out. Also, you go through your deck maybe 1.5 times in a game. So even if their discard deck has all 3 bubonic plagues, keep in mind they're going to cycle through their deck again. So, yeah, watch that discard pile. It's a key part of this game, and I think this card really brings that out. One other thing I want to mention as well is don't rely on marketplaces to somehow defend your ports. Marketplaces are not strong enough to defend against the bubonic plagues and squallers. These combined, it's just overwhelming, and it's not going to work. But other than that, I guess a fourth way to play ports is kind of as a Hail Mary. And again, it's good to throw your opponent off balance. If they think they're getting really close to winning, then throw these out. And now they're forced to really assess everything and see, wait, are they going to be able to catch up because of these super cheap ports? And, I find more often than not, playing this creates a very interesting dynamic, and it'll shake things up in a good way. So if you're on the edge of trying to decide, should I play this risky card? I would say more often than not, go for it. Okay, thanks for watching.